This screencast covers how to use SIRS Researcher. If you don't know how to get to this particular webpage, then you need to watch the database overview video. If you've already seen that, then once you're here, you just need to click SIRS Researcher, and this will open. Again, if you use this at home, you are going to be required to log in, so be sure that you get the salmon colored sheet from the circ desk in the library so that you'll have that information when you need it. This is what it looks like. You will need to log in, so I will do that real quick. This is not a page that you can hit enter on. So once you've typed that in, you're going to click My Products page, and then you get two choices. Firstly, you get Culturegrams, and secondly, you get the SIRS Researcher. So we're going to start with SIRS Researcher. And this is the page that pops up. This is really handy if you have to do some sort of arguing essay and you were not given a topic in advance. These top 10 pro versus con issues regularly update, so you can just click whichever one shows up that you're interested in. Maybe I'm interested in gun control. And that is everything I need to do. It gives me all of these hits for it. It gives me 772 hits overall. And then you get a bunch of other choices. So you can narrow it down if you just need images and multimedia. You can narrow it down to viewpoints, which gives me just these, which are basically articles. Instead of being straight informative, they give you an actual argument for or against your topic. Magazine articles, newspapers, matching results. You can narrow down, so you can do a timeline if you just need a little bit of background, statistics. You can focus just on the Gun Control Act. You have a lot of choices within that top 10 pro versus con. Then we're going to look at some other ways to search. So if we go to advanced search, you can type in whatever my term is. So let's type in cancer. And you can say and or not. So like this would be if you keep doing a search for cancer and chemotherapy, and you keep coming up with a term that you really don't want to affect your search results, you would say not and then type that term in. Or you could do cancer or chemotherapy, or cancer and chemotherapy. You can also narrow down by author, title, subject, or that these words would just appear anywhere in your full text. Proximity search you can play with if you would like. I would always suggest to just start up here though. And captions we'll talk about here in just a little bit of a second. You can sort results by date as well, which is very nice, so that if you need something like cancer research, I mean that's obviously going to be something that you have to do with a very narrow date span because so much changes in the medical field. You can also order by Lexile, so maybe you struggle with reading and you want the Lexiles to go from lowest Lexile to greatest Lexile, or vice versa. You can do that as well. If we go back to the home page, you've got a list of topics over here. It'll tell you what's new and what's not. And so again, if you're not interested in the top 10 most controversial topics right now, you can just scroll through this until you find something that hits your fancy, and it'll look just like what we just did a second ago. You can do a topic browse if we click on that. And that's going to give me just these overall broad topics. So maybe I'm interested in health yet again. And that gives me the topics that fall under health that I can get in here. So let's look at the contents for food. And here's all of my articles. The screen looks a little different, but it's still kind of the same thing as the screen we just looked at. So it gives me the breakdown of what type of materials are here. So maybe I'm just interested in magazine articles. I can flip the Lexile should I desire it. So now my Lexile score is right there, so I can pick the one that I might personally find easier to read. Whenever you do your research for articles, always be sure to read the summary. Look at the date, and then be sure to read the summary. Honestly, 1999 is too far back for me to even really consider the summary. But maybe there's something in the summary that tells me it's exactly what I've been looking for. So be sure that always you look at the summary before you waste your time clicking in. Also, look at these here, these descriptors. Maybe this is something I hadn't thought of. Maybe farm income is something I'm really interested in. So I can click that and get a whole list of articles that come off of that. And again, I get my summaries, I get more subjects, so I can use it. Maybe soybeans, oh, maybe attitudes is really what I'm interested in after all. And it keeps altering my search up here for me as well, so I can see how far I've broken it down, which is very handy. You can add it to your list, should you desire. You can tag your articles. Honestly, I would not suggest this. I've said this before in other ones, and I'm going to say it now. I feel that the safest way to get these to you is that if you click the article, and it will load eventually, is to email this to yourself. And on ProQuest, it's going to be up here. Always email this. You can also export to EasyBib. I would really suggest just emailing it, and then that way you'll just have to click it from your email and you will very quickly be able to log in and get your information. You can have a pre-made citation. APA and MLA are both automatically generated down here, so you can just copy paste them. And if we scroll back up, we've got subjects that we can continue to break down, and just like many of your other databases, you can listen to this as well.
McClatchy Tribune News Service Jan 3, 2014, NP.
And as you can see, it also helps you follow along, which is very handy. You can also translate it, should you choose to, if English is not your preferred language. And if you're doing some sort of group project, you can share this research with other people in your group, which is very handy as well. Put it on Facebook, put it in through Gmail, put it on Twitter, and then that way other people in your group can access what you have found. This button here, Database Features, is really supposed to help you understand how to actually use this database. So database features, you can do, let's do natural disasters. And it will give you all sorts of articles on, let's do this one. This is about the rising sea in New York City and how difficult that is. So I can do related searches, and then that's instantly going to take me to a bunch of articles that look just like this. And then one last thing that we're going to talk about, which is Student Tools. Student Tools helps you figure out where to go in the writing process. So first, we have to consider how to pick a topic, and then eventually we can work through all of these steps. It comes with very handy documents that you can download and that essentially become guides and cheat sheets to help work through the process of this. Once you've worked through this process, then it will allow you to move on to developing your basic knowledge, to separating fact and opinion, to writing a thesis statement, and then you can download a form for each of these, which is very, very handy.